Welcome to Streaming News Network by Claude McDaniel. News without the hype and biased reporting. Please like and subscribe.
This is Claude McDaniel with Streaming News Network. Federal authorities have announced a major healthcare fraud crackdown in Minnesota, charging 15 defendants in connection with schemes that allegedly sought more than $90 million through fraudulent claims involving Medicaid and other public assistance programs. According to prosecutors, the defendants are accused of exploiting programs designed to help vulnerable residents, including those receiving disability support, autism services, home-based care, housing stabilization assistance, childcare benefits, and nutrition-related services. Investigators allege that providers submitted false reimbursement requests for services that were never performed, inflated claims, or billed for services that did not qualify for payment. Officials say the fraudulent activity spanned multiple counties and involved several categories of healthcare providers. Federal authorities described the operation as one of the largest Medicaid fraud enforcement actions ever brought in Minnesota, including what prosecutors say are the two biggest Medicaid fraud cases ever charged in the district. The Justice Department also announced an expansion of its healthcare fraud section, a move officials say will strengthen Medicaid fraud investigations across the country. The cases remain pending, and all defendants are presumed innocent unless proven guilty in court. This is Claude McDaniel for Streaming News Network. Authorities in Iowa are investigating a tragic series of shootings that left 6 people dead and are believed to be connected to a domestic dispute. Police have identified the suspected gunman as 52-year-old Ryan Willis McFarland of Muscatine, Iowa. Investigators believe the victims were members of his extended family. Their names have not yet been released as authorities continue notifying relatives and conducting the investigation. The violence began shortly after noon on June 1 when officers responded to reports of a shooting at a residence on Park Avenue. Inside the home, first responders discovered 4 victims who had suffered fatal gunshot wounds. Police say McFarland had left the scene before officers arrived but was quickly identified as the suspect. He was later located on the Riverfront Trail near a pedestrian bridge. According to Muscatine Police Chief Anthony Keese, McFarland died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound while officers were speaking with him. As the investigation unfolded, authorities discovered 2 additional victims. One adult male was found dead at a residence on Mill Street, while another adult male was found dead at a business on Grandview Avenue. Chief Keese called the incident an act of evil and said the community is mourning the loss suffered by several local families. Multiple law enforcement agencies are assisting in the ongoing investigation. This is Claude McDaniel for Streaming News Network. The entertainment world is mourning the loss of actor Owain Rhys-Davies, best known for his role as Agent Wilson in the 2017 revival of the television series Twin Peaks. Davies was 44 years old. The Cardiff-born actor's death was announced by his brother, Rhodri Davies, who said Owain died suddenly but peacefully from natural causes. In a public tribute, Rhodri described his brother as a source of immense pride and said the family has been comforted by the outpouring of love and support from fans and colleagues around the world. While noting that some questions remain regarding the circumstances surrounding his death, the family has requested privacy as they grieve. In addition to his work on Twin Peaks, Davies appeared in the Netflix science fiction drama The OA and the fantasy film Alice Through the Looking Glass, among other screen projects. The official Twin Peaks social media account extended condolences to his family and thanked him for his contribution to the series. The Welsh National Theatre also honoured Davies, praising his talent, creativity, and lasting impact on Welsh theatre and film. This is Claude McDaniel for Streaming News Network. A longtime Florida toll booth attendant is dead after authorities say a pickup truck crashed into her booth before the driver continued onto the beach and into the Atlantic Ocean. The incident occurred Monday in Daytona Beach shores. Investigators say a 35-year-old woman, identified as Deanna Harrell, drove her truck into the toll booth at approximately 40 miles per hour, striking 62-year-old Tammy Jo Baker, a county employee who had worked at the beach toll facility for many years. Baker was pronounced dead at the scene. Officials say she was just weeks away from her 63rd birthday. According to the Volusia County Sheriff's Office, the driver then continued onto the beach and drove the vehicle into the ocean. Witnesses and Good Samaritans reportedly intervened and helped remove the woman from the damaged truck. Sheriff Mike Chitwood told reporters there was a strong odor of alcohol coming from the vehicle, and investigators are conducting toxicology testing as part of the case. No criminal charges had been announced as of the latest update. Authorities also said the driver was taken into custody under Florida's Baker Act for a mental health evaluation. The investigation remains ongoing as officials work to determine exactly what led to the deadly crash. This is J. Claude McDaniel for Streaming News Network. Authorities in the Caribbean nation of St. Kitts and Nevis have confirmed the discovery of the body of a missing cruise ship passenger nearly 1 week after he disappeared while hiking alone. Police identified the victim as 33-year-old Wang Ziyuan of China. He was reported missing on May 27 after setting out on the Mount Liamwiga hiking trail on the island of St. Kitts. According to investigators, Ziyuan contacted emergency services at approximately 2 o'clock that afternoon to report that he had become lost. However, communication was later lost, prompting a large-scale search and rescue operation. Authorities say multiple agencies participated in the effort, including police, defense force personnel, firefighters, emergency management officials, and community volunteers. Cell tower data was also used to help narrow the search area. Ziyuan's body was ultimately located after several days of searching. Officials have not released a cause of death, and the investigation remains ongoing. The trail is located on Mount Liamwiga, a dormant volcano and the highest point on the island. The rugged rainforest route is considered extremely challenging, with steep terrain and often slippery conditions. Authorities continue to remind visitors to use caution and consider experienced guides when hiking remote mountain trails. This is J. Claude McDaniel of Streaming News Network. 6 years after Americans received the first round of pandemic-era stimulus payments, questions are once again being raised about the possibility of direct payments from the federal government. While there has been no official announcement of a fourth stimulus check, several lawmakers have introduced proposals that could provide financial relief to millions of Americans. One proposal, introduced by Senator Bernie Sanders and Representative Ro Khanna, would impose a wealth tax on the nation's billionaires and use the revenue to provide annual payments of $3,000 to individuals and families earning $150,000 or less. Meanwhile, Representative Henry Cuellar has proposed legislation that would distribute tariff-related rebates to consumers. Under that plan, eligible Americans could receive payments estimated between approximately $1,020 and $2,040, depending on filing status. A separate Senate proposal from Martin Heinrich would provide rebates of $1,200 to qualifying joint tax filers, with additional payments for dependent children. Despite these proposals, no stimulus legislation has been approved by Congress, and no payments have been authorized at this time. If Congress is needed, or can payments be made under presidential executive order? This is J. Claude McDaniel with Streaming News Network. A former Ohio judge has been sentenced after admitting to improperly assigning a divorce case to herself and falsely claiming it had been selected through the court's random assignment process. 54-year-old Leslie Ann Celebrez appeared in court Monday following her guilty plea earlier this year to a felony charge of tampering with records. According to prosecutors, Celebrez manually assigned herself a contentious divorce case in 2023 after the judge originally handling the matter became ill. Court records showed she then directed staff to transfer the case to her and falsely documented that the assignment had occurred randomly. During sentencing, the presiding judge expressed concern about the damage such conduct can cause to public trust in the judicial system, noting that most judges work diligently to follow the law and ethical standards. Celebrez apologized in court, acknowledging that her actions had consequences and expressing remorse for her conduct. As part of an agreement with prosecutors, Celebrez pleaded guilty to the felony charge and resigned from the bench she had occupied for 15 years. Although she faced a potential prison sentence of up to 3 years, prosecutors did not seek incarceration. The case marks a significant fall from public service for a judge whose family had a long history in Ohio's court system. This is J. Claude McDaniel with Streaming News Network. Music legend Rod Stewart has reassured fans about his health after canceling 2 scheduled performances in Las Vegas just hours before he was set to take the stage. The 81-year-old performer was scheduled to appear at the Coliseum at Caesar's Palace as part of his ongoing residency. However, both weekend shows were canceled on the advice of his doctor. In a message to fans, Stewart explained that he is recovering from a sinus infection and has been placed on vocal rest. He apologized for the cancellations and said he looks forward to returning to the stage soon. Representatives for the singer indicated that he is expected to resume performances beginning June 2, and ticket holders for the canceled shows will receive refunds. The health update has also renewed attention to Stewart's previous battles with cancer. He was diagnosed with thyroid cancer in 2000 and prostate cancer in 2017, but has since achieved remission from both illnesses. His wife, Penny Lancaster, recently spoke about his commitment to maintaining his health, describing him as someone who stays physically active and regularly consults with doctors to monitor his well-being. Despite the recent setback, Stewart is expected to continue his summer tour schedule. This is Claude McDaniel with Streaming News Network. One of Hollywood's most enduring and influential figures appears to have officially stepped away from filmmaking. According to comments made by his son, legendary actor and director Clint Eastwood has retired after a remarkable career spanning more than 7 decades. Eastwood, who recently celebrated his 96th birthday, first gained national attention in the television western Rawhide before becoming an international star through Sergio Leone's acclaimed Dollars trilogy, including the classic film The Good, the Bad and the Ugly. Over the years, Eastwood built an equally impressive reputation behind the camera, directing and producing award-winning films such as Unforgiven, $1 Million Baby, and American Sniper. His son, Kyle Eastwood, recently told an audience that his father is now retired, reflecting on the many films they worked on together over the years. Eastwood's final acting role came in the 2021 film Cry Macho, while his last directing project was the 2024 courtroom thriller Juror No. 2. With 4 Academy Awards and more than 70 films to his credit, Eastwood leaves behind one of the most celebrated careers in Hollywood history.
Thank you for listening to Streaming News Network videos and shorts. Please like and subscribe to our news channel.